discretion is advised.
What's a good interesting rabbit hole to dig into? Lake Kivu. It's a large lake in eastern Africa, between the Congo and Rwanda. It's actually in the process of becoming an ocean as the margins of two continental plates are slowly pulling the eastern part of Africa away. So it will eventually be a new ocean. However, currently it is one of the biggest ticking time bombs on the planet. You see, because it's over a rift, there's a ton of volcanic activity around it, including one of the most active volcanoes in Africa, Nyiragongo. Now here is what makes it so fascinating. Because its situation over tons of volcanic springs, the lake contains about 65 cubic miles of methane, an enormous potential energy source, but it also contains 265 cubic miles of trapped CO2. Yes, 265 cubic miles. Here's the scary part. All that gas, it's trapped under the water. If something were to upset the water or ignite the methane, the lake would literally explode and release all that CO2, which is heavier than air, and there is 265 cubic miles of it. Everyone around the lake in a huge area would suffocate and fall over dead within minutes. Millions would die. It's already happened on a much smaller scale in other, smaller lakes. The main worry is lava. If a volcano were to pour a large lava flow deep enough to ignite the methane, it would be all over. Oh, and that volcano, Nyiragongo, I mentioned above. It sits on the northern tip and regularly erupts highly fluid lava that reaches the lake. Solved and unsolved encrypted messages, like the notes from the Zodiac Killer, or the messages on Cryptus, a statue outside CIA headquarters, that type of thing. Also, Wikipedia dives. Click on link and open new tab into mathematics. I understand little of the maths, but the concepts are fascinating. There's a whole world I don't understand. Friendly numbers. Too long didn't read. It's crazy how the tiniest decisions can change your life. This sounds so stupid and dull, but the concept of decision making is fascinating to me. There are so many choices you can make that you don't even realize. If you put enough effort into things, you can make decisions for yourself that can change your lifestyle. You can become vegan, paint yourself blue, learn a new language, make a song, start writing, learn about computer science. The possibilities are endless. And with the internet at your fingertips, it's so easy to do these things. And when you become an adult, there are so many more decisions to be made. What you buy from the grocery store, where you live, how your place will be decorated, what pets are you going to get, if any, how's the climate of where you live, are you going to stay in state, are you going to move to a different country, what career do you want, does it make you happy, are you happy? Decisions lead to deep questions like that, and it fascinates me that humans don't make drastic changes on the daily. Puck's attorney for law, specifically his New York counterparts, and how Bill de Blasio is an unapologetic groundhog murderer. China's relationship with milk, and how they now own practically the entire Australian dairy industry. I was just curious due to a discussion with a friend. Fact-checked how many horse companies are owned by Chinese investors, and learned a lot about Mao's cultural enrichment plans. Also related the time China was defeated by sparrows, after trying to eliminate them, because sparrows were one of the reasons the population was impoverished. Apparently, puts the time Australia lost the great emu war to great shame. Okay, try something. Hear me out though. Too long didn't read. Get a thought journal. I want you to give yourself a prompt, image, idea, person, thing. Then, take notes. I want you to write your ideas or thoughts on this subject. Create it for an audience you don't have to show anyone. In high school, college, we are made to take notes and focus on statistics. But this can be a fun way to track your thought process and watch your thoughts flow and meander off topic. It's fun to read it and watch how and where your brain decided to change the subject. You can learn a lot about yourself. Totally recommend. Ants. I recently found out male ants don't have fathers. I also read the queen can live for decades. The same can happen to honeybees. If the queen mother dies, A worker might overtake the queen's position. Workers are always female. But since the worker has never copulated, she cannot lay female eggs, only males. It's a bit confusing. But male bees are genetically simpler than females. It's kinda fascinating that bees can kinda reproduce without sex. Source: my grandpa was a beekeeper. Time cube and tempelos are my favorites. The former is a totally nonsensical theory of time, invented and peddled by one guy. The latter is a bizarre operating system developed by a highly religious schizophrenic. Look them up on YouTube if you have a few hours to kill. Lucid dreaming. It's extremely interesting to learn about all the different techniques used to lucid dream and to control the dreams. All the scientific explanation is interesting as well. Reading people's stories is fascinating. Some people have dreams that feel as real as reality. Every single copy of Super Mario 64 is personalized. Nintendo's experimental AI adapts and subtly creates slightly altered version of the game tailored specifically for you, appealing to you subconsciously in ways you don't even notice, as well as attempting to mess with you and study how you react to it. Have you ever played someone else's copy of Mario 64? Have you ever felt like something was just a little bit off? That's why. That's how. This is much more than just simple experimentation with procedural generation. However, there are many layers to this, and some of them are more sinister and malicious than others. Super Mario 64 is, at its core, an insidious and evil work of human creation. Twin genetics. Especially when you consider the relatedness dynamics when the child's aunt, uncle and mom dad are the exact same person genetically. Then it gets more interesting when you start adding in half identical twins. The Icedal Woman. A woman who ended up being burnt to death in Norway's Ice Valley with confusing clues, possible links to espionage, and a nameless woman who is just as intriguing as when she was found. I've always found abandoned amusement parks interesting, like Six Flags New Orleans or the Land of Oz in NC with the yellow brick road. They're kind of everywhere and once brought immense happiness to so many, and now they're abandoned and often getting reclaimed by the earth, and the contrast between the before and after pictures is often stunning. And Rosie the shark is a good one, too. A great white shark preserved in formaldehyde that was discovered by urban explorers in an abandoned wildlife park. Public interest wound up leading to it being rescued, I think. Your own Facebook Messenger conversations. Yesterday I wanted to find a picture my brother sent of my dog when he was a puppy sleeping in my brother's shoe. I typed in the word shoe and ended up in my own rabbit hole of reading old conversations from years ago with people I used to be close to but haven't spoken to in so long. Honestly, try it. Type in a random word and you'd be surprised how many conversations can come up. I used to do this as a game with my friend in high school. Ancient civilizations wrote about singing dragons in the sky. What if those dragons were airplanes from a more advanced civilization that the less advanced civilization saw, and this just repeat itself over and over again now, and ancient civilization is going to see our airplanes and they are going to write stories and scripts about it. Have fun sleeping. The current revival happening in Freemasonry. Lots of good things going on there. And though a Mason won't ask anyone to join, I would encourage contacting your local lodge and see if it would interest you. It's a good way to improve yourself and others around you. Definitely have to be into learning about these kinds of things. But I once found myself down a rabbit hole learning about Albert Fish, the serial killer cannibal. I thought it was interesting because the psychology behind it is unique. If that's not your speed, I thought learning about the children of Lalealaka was fascinating, especially all the technology we have available for information gathering on mummies. Creation stories. Every religion has one. Many are actually very similar. One example is multiple cultures. I'm not talking about current day, I mean like before, around when the pyramids were built type of timeline from around the world. Believe that this is not the first world we have inhabited, and won't be the last as we grow towards enlightenment, and several have the same pattern. Like we started out in one world that was destroyed by water. Then the next one was destroyed by fire. And now we are currently waiting for this one to end to move on to the next. Different types of automobiles, boats, trains and planes disasters. Not only is incredibly fascinating to learn the history of the incredible vehicles of travel, but also the more and more you learn about these vehicles, about their materials, companies, etc. that will help you get the one you want and plausibly save your life one day. Former President Benjamin Harrison. He isn't the most notable president, but did some pretty interesting things during his time and basically had a zoo at the White House. He was Teddy Roosevelt before Teddy Roosevelt. Third. B. Cooper case is a pretty good one. There are a lot of credible theories that people have been researching for years. Another one would be the facility named Mount Weather. It is believed that this is one of, or the location, where continuity of government would occur if a major national emergency or disaster should occur. It's located in the general area of roughly Winchester, Virginia. I'm gonna have to go with the backrooms. You basically clip into the backrooms like a video game into level 0. And then you have to progress through the levels. Each one is different. And some have creatures. Some. The level itself is dangerous. There's tons of backrooms levels. Each level has sub-levels. And there's even negative levels. Click subscribe. If you enjoyed this video,